Eliminate the workplace excuse. That's what leaders do. This is the Career Blindspot Podcast.
CBQ, what is the network blind spot, Juan?
So the network blind spot is the fourth of 5 blind spots, and remind you, we are actually going backwards in the 60-day blind spot coaching to get the attention of those of you who are completely new to this. But most people, when they're trying to be better leaders or make career moves, especially more fulfillment, more reward or purpose-driven ones, it's like, I don't know where to start. Some people are like, I got to get better at this, and I probably need to go to more things, but I don't do it, and you can hear it in my voice.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about networking.
Yeah.
What do you think networking is? Because you seem to really enjoy it. You go to a lot of events, and to me, I'm just exhausted.
So, I mean, networking is a boring word, but people know what it means. It's actually, you tell me, what is networking to you? Not the blind spot, just networking in general.
It's going and talking to strangers about what you do awkwardly and seeing if they can help you or if you can help them.
Yeah, that's the blind spot. That's actually not bad. It's just like all out of order. Because even the way you said it, it's going to help people.
It makes my shoulders tense immediately. Because I don't want to talk to strangers about what I do.
That's not true. And I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, tell me why.
But the pieces are there. It is going to people you don't know, strangers or whatnot. Because you could just go to people you already know, which that is part of my version of it. But it's like they can solve a problem for me, or you could solve a problem for them, and you got that for me. But real quick, I don't think that's what most people think networking is. It's I got to go get a job, or I got to sell something to a bunch of people, which neither of those are bad reasons. But so many people network out of desperation when they have to, or literally it's an aspect of their job. And so for the rest of us, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think that is kind of why I feel like a little bit of an ick whenever I think of networking, because I feel like it makes me look desperate.
Yeah.
But you've kind of changed it for me where it's more of like just creating these connections, because it is really cool to watch you put your network into action.
So one, what's more important is that I change it for you. That's the point. Like sometimes I'm like, should I just call this like networking blind spot? Like, go make new friends. You don't need to dump the ones you already have. But maybe you do. You need to partner up with people where it's more of a compliment. You can actually solve a problem for them, or them you, or both. Let's just talk about the friend thing. They say as you get older, especially after school or whatever social thing, it's harder for adults to make friends. That doesn't apply to me and my mom.
That is so true.
Yeah. But, I mean, even my mom is kind of a reluctant entrepreneur, even though she's retired. She has no problem, not just meeting people, but she's always helping people and asking help for other people. Like, networking is being human 101. You do not have to do it, but you're not listening to this because you want the status quo. There's a phrase when you have kids, it takes a village.
It really does.
What does that mean to you?
You can't do everything. Like, I can't teach our kids everything. I don't know everything.
I tell you that every day.
Oh my God. So you have to get people who know different things, which is why I think we work really well together. Yeah.
And especially in the during and post, I think isolation and ego are rampant with work from home, or people who just, it's so much easier to be in your bubble and protect it. And that, I could get political, but my point is, like, if you're looking for more, you can't do it alone. You won't do it alone. I'm on a what's it called? I want to say fruit basket. That's not the right word. Soapbox right now. But this whole,
I like fruit basket better. Let's change it.
I cringe when I hear people like, oh yeah, bootstraps and hustle. And I mean, even people I like, I'm like, this doesn't help anyone. Not that I think they're lying, but anyone, even the most despicable person, the most sociopathic, narcissistic person gets help from other people.
Yes. And that's what that bootstrap saying is actually about. It's because you cannot pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Stop pulling that page from me. I'm the one who questions those things.
Back on topic about networking.
But that's the point, is this there's this generic negative thing of either I don't want to do this awful thing or I'm not good at it. And you have to do it if you are going to get some kind of result that you cannot just do on your own. And even I don't think anyone ever does anything on their own. I don't care how isolated and strong you are. You want coffee in the morning, someone had to grind the beans. You want to get on the road, the lights need to be working.
You want to learn something, someone wrote the book. Yeah.
So another way to think of it is like you need to have this way proactive, what I call it, collaboration or proactive empathy. Stop waiting and assuming it's going to be a certain way. And so this blind spot correlates, or I correlate it with the emotional intelligence or emotional quotient or EQ assessment, but really more so the concept. We're all human. Most of us aren't Zen masters, and our self-awareness, our ability to regulate, that's what therapy's for, inner work and journaling. But also, sometimes I wonder, like, cart before the horse, like, should people work with me before they go to a therapist? Or once you're done with therapy, or maybe not done, but
I can speak from experience, like at the same time works pretty well.
Yeah. And I would say that I think a lot of people who don't ever want to go to therapy, but do want to do a version, like this is kind of a toe in the water, but
it's like work therapy,
but almost like a Trojan horse. We end up talking about some shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know that part of my not wanting to go to networking is because I don't feel very confident. Like I have a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like you helped me see that. That's not something I saw before, and that's something I can work on.
And for everyone, even especially me, I'm speaking, but I know like even especially the most extroverted, talkative people at these networking events, we are insecure. That's why we don't shut up. We want to keep you impressed and keep adding and adding, and not saying all of the time, but that is a sign someone's over talking as well as not talking enough. And it's an emotional thing. So with the emotional intelligence or EQ report, what it's helping me help you with, the participant, is are you aware of what you're bringing to the table? And more truthfully, or more benefiting you and your goal, are you aware of who can actually help? And so like you said earlier, going to strangers, like, yeah, or actually I'll take even further back. You've said in the past, I don't like being around people, and that has changed
somewhat.
Yeah. How so? How has it changed?
I like being around people in certain situations.
Describe.
I really like being around people and helping them, which is weird because I'm not a social person. But like when I'm at work and I'm leading meetings on something that I'm passionate about, like doing work in agile format, like I love being around people and they don't annoy me at all.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, we're not going to name names, but pick someone, let's say take it out of work and say, this is on a scale of 1 to 10, Courtney hates this person. But I say, hey, Courtney, this person is looking for a house in downtown Phoenix.
I've got all the information they need.
Do you
Give me their number to text.
Why?
Because I love it.
You love the work.
I do. I love the work.
And like my friend Azina, who was one of my first interviews about project management, I think she says it on the episode. She's like, I don't really like people. And it's not fully true, but she's like, I like the projects and getting people to get it done.
A little ahead of it, of what your CTA is, but she was on my list of 10, just throwing it out there.
Yes. And so it's to me, how you do this, how do I, speaking for you, the listener here, get better at networking and proactively collaborating is believe yourself credible and worthy. Because if you don't, and like, again, this is towards the end of the blind spot, like you'd be like, well, where do I start? Well, keep listening to these episodes or download the PDF or give me a call. But until then, do something that is going to address your inner critic. You're not going to make it disappear. We're talking psychology here. Your inner critic is there for a reason. Is there to protect you and keep you alive, but also, or I should say more so, so you don't die. But a lot of times it keeps you in one isolated space and you're not really living.
Yeah.
So you need, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to kind of change it a little bit and say, I think the really cool thing that I learned from you is networking doesn't mean that you have to go to a networking event. If you're passionate about something, go to an event about that. I love mid-century stuff. I should be going to mid-century things because I'm sure that there's other people that I can connect with that will lead me to something in the future. And the other one that I've heard you tell people who are more introverted and prefer to be alone is go volunteer. I love that piece of advice for networking.
Yeah, because it takes the pressure off of you It also gives you information. Now I know where to go, where to check in, and I know I'm being helpful.
Yes.
Like if you ever gone to a party and you're like, I don't know what to do, but someone says, hey, can you give me a hand? Oh my God. Okay, now I feel less of a burden.
Yes.
But again, that's psychological. That is this narrative you're telling in your head. And so emotional intelligence is basically like taking the temperature of how you feel about this at all, in this blind spot of like, hey, you don't need to go to all the networking events. In fact, I'd say don't go
do that.
to any of the ones you're thinking of, but we need to find ones that you would. I think actually, I'm glad you brought that up. If you're not excited to volunteer at this event, then probably don't go. But especially as it relates to the goals of career, leadership, etc. Again, like we're doing this for a reason, not just because your college professor said network and blah blah blah. There is the not theory, but the concept of build a well before you're thirsty. Like
Right.
go out, and I do recommend that where you are. If you're not generally excited of, oh, I wonder what this is about, then don't go. Don't waste your time, yet alone theirs. But if
That's
you don't
how
have,
I ended up volunteering to help with that Women in Tech thing that's coming up in October with Local First, because I'm passionate about those two things. And I'm like really excited to actually go and help at that event.
And be aware, and this is the reason I call it a blind spot, because there's these, I think, I'm being armchair psychologist here, that you knew that about yourself already, but when you see those things, you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not this. And it's like, if you were to throw on an event right now, hell, we did a couple months ago. And if someone was like, hey, can I help? Be like, hell yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but please just show up. And when you show up, like you give your physical presence to someone doing something, that means a lot. I'm not saying it's going to be the best ever and you still can't step on toes or your toes get stepped on. But my point is, you have to initiate that. And other people are just as insecure or just as unsure. You don't need to go to every networking event. In fact, I'd say like lower your standards of what you think you need to do to go, and raise them on who you actually want to give your presence to. And so the final CTA that Courtney teased is, name 10 people that you trust for constructive feedback as it relates to your goal, and ask 3 of them, take them to coffee, meet them on a Zoom. And these are arbitrary. You want to do all 10, you want to do 100, I don't care. And frankly, I think if you had 7 that you generally like were already meeting, you don't need this coaching. If you are talking to 7 people that you can proactively collaborate with, they solve your problems, you solve theirs, you're probably building already amazing things. I'm not saying you don't have those people, but if you're actually meeting with them, you don't need this. If you're struggling to meet with them, do the call to action, download the PDF, consider doing the full engagement. Anything to add, Courtney, as someone who thinks themselves an introvert, even though they light up in certain situations with people?
Find your certain situations. Stop going to things that have the title of networking. Start searching for things that you have a passion about, that give you energy, where you actually want to go talk to other people, and see where that leads you.
I make this show for leaders, those who don't point fingers, but point towards ways they can do better at work. My ask for listening is you share the show on social and or with other leaders, established or aspiring. Until then, no talent, no culture, no excuses.